And yes, I'm gonna be telling you a bit about my story also, because if you know my story, if you know my context, if you know where I come from, you will understand a bit better why I fight for this kind of reasons, why I do believe that women needs to step up. And I'm here to convince you that in democracy, diversity is a key. And as more as people from minorities we are including in our decision making, the more proportional the ideas and the public policies are going to become. So it's a logical thinking to believe that having minorities leading their own groups and representing their groups in democracy, in parliament or in local governments, it's gonna make a better world. It's gonna make a better country for us. So here I am. This is a picture in my district. I used to work in my local municipality, and this was actually a youth festival that we did. But, well, I'm a 25-year-old lawyer. I come from a very, worker class family. My mom, she's from Panama. She's a gynecologist, so she had to study very, very hard. She came from a very poor family, and she became a gynecologist. So this is also an important part for me to believe in women having rights over their bodies. And my father, he is a med seller. He sells medicines. He's from El Salvador, which is a very small and poor country in Central America too. And I have to tell you the truth, I come from a domestic violence house. So it was pretty rough growing up. When I was little, I had a tough childhood, but things are different now, luckily. My parents went through a very rough divorce, and that changed my life completely. But my family didn't believe in any case in politicians or in politics. I am like the first generation in my whole family trying to make a difference from the public space. And actually my father used to tell my sister and I, please, you can study, girls, whatever you want. Please study languages, study science, study medicine, study laws. But please do not get involved in politics, because when you become a politician, you become a greed person. You become corrupted. You become superficial person. You become more worried about your own interests than in the interests of the people. And well, people, here I am doing everything my father told me not to do, because I think kids were like that. So my father insisted that much in not doing that. And well, here I am being a rebel and trying to change the reality of my space, of my district. Okay. Let me do something with this. Let's hear this video. Can I lower the volume a bit? I think I can, yeah. So I participated in this contest when I was 17 years old. It's the most popular academic contest in my country. Almost 13,000 students participate per year. Actually, this was my second chance trying, yes, because it's pretty common to try 3 times. You get to try 3 times. This was the second one. The first one I failed. I lost, and I thought like it was the end of the world, that I was a mess, that I didn't work for anything, that I was useless, blah, blah, blah. High schoolers, depression. But then I tried again because the topic was about the participation of young people in democracy. So that was the part in my life where I realized that I had a message, that I had something special to say about our leadership in politics. So I'm gonna show you a small video about how the contest worked, so you can get the idea. It's pretty fun. So let's watch it. It's just 50 seconds.
Queremos que Juan David nos diga, por una vez y todas, quién es la ganadora del concurso de oratoria 2013 de Cleveland.
Vamos a anunciar el primer lugar. ¿Quién ganó, Juan David?
¿Quién ganó?
Ganó Irma Hernández.
¡Yay!
Oratoria 2013, Irma Hernández representando a Panamá. ¡Felicidades!
Se queda en Panamá el premio. Se queda la copa en Panamá.
It's like a big thing.
Felicidades, Irma. Excelente tu labor esta noche. Realmente la de todos.
Y Estela Pichel le entrega el cheque de los
10,000
balboas de caja de ahorros.
So well, 9 people.
¡Felicitaciones!
No, that's my teacher.
Increíble. Y la verdad que Irma tuvo un desempeño fenomenal.
Well, that was about it, and that was like the first moment that I realized that we had to do something. Like I could do something. This was in 2013, so it was the year before elections. So all the candidates for presidency were in the first row. So I was very passionate to tell them about how young people can actually make a change. In Panama, young people and students are well remembered for changing things. If you get to know a bit about our story, and this is very quick, Panama has the Panama Canal, and United States built the canal. And we used to have this zone in our city called the canal zone, and only people from United States could live there or could be there. Panamanians couldn't even enter that space, and it was our country, you know? Mm-hmm. And students from the most important public school, the agreement was that when every American flag was raised, next to it needed to be a Panamanian flag. But in the Boston school, which was the gringo school, the American school, they only had the American flag. So the students from the public school in Panama get really mad about that, and they went to the canal zone, which was prohibited, and they put the Panamanian flag, and it started like shootings, and people died from that. But that was the beginning of conquering and giving back to us our canal. So I do believe that young people make really good changes in politics, especially women too. So this was the start of my dream of becoming a politician. And well, after that, I decided to study laws and political science. And I had the opportunity, as I said, to work in my municipality as the youth secretariat. And I have to tell you something about my district. This is my district. As you can see, it's like pretty tight. There are plenty houses, one next to each other. There's little space because it wasn't like a planified city. It just used to happen, and it happened because the people didn't have an option to live in. So they were like just invaded. They invaded private property lands. And well, we now have a problem with that, but we as politicians should make public policies to help this kind of issue and to solve this kind of issues. Yeah. And well, my district is a pretty small district. It's only 50 quarter kilometers, but it has almost 500,000 persons living in there. So it's very dense. We can find in my district all economic classes in one place. We have, as I told you, invaded lands, and there are a lot of gangs and a lot of insecurity, and we live in pretty bad conditions. People have no water, no clean water. People have no clean public spaces at all. No parks, no courts, no nothing, no good streets or good sidewalks. And there's garbage everywhere. We have a pretty bad garbage recollective system. But, well, I would say that it's a tragic but a very, very beautiful place. And here's why I'm telling you why. I think it's not all bad in my district. I just think that we need political disposition, goodwill, and the capability to do work. In here, I'm showing you some pictures that I feel pretty proud about the work that we have done in my district. Picture with me and my friends protesting to defend a park, or I, as a youth secretary in my municipality, used to like make these sessions with artists to paint walls and make the district look a little different. We used to do like Christmas performances for the people. This is the metro station. The metro, we are pretty proud about our metro. We actually take really care about our metro. Panamanian people is different in the metro. They are like conscious about it. They clean it. They are different people over there. So it's a big thing to change our society. It's a monument we have, like the Cristo Corcovado from Brazil, but we have a little one in San Miguelito. And this is a movie thing that we did in on Awful Court, outside, to show the kids that they could do different stuff with their public spaces. So yes, this was in a national parade thing. So yes, I don't think anything is bad. Everything is bad, but I think that San Miguelito needs women to change the reality, because I, as a young woman, while working there, got the opportunity to do the work, and I realized that only with a voluntary, only with this position we can do the changes. In here, in the municipality of my district, is where I met IRI people, because the mayor of the district didn't actually give me money to do the project, so I had to like go to other organizations and find the funds, and that's where I luckily found IRI, and they helped me a lot to do many of these activities. Actually, the festival, from the first picture, they helped me with food and stuff to do it. And yes, right now I work in the National Assembly, and I work with my dear friend. He is Juan Diego Vasquez. We used to have debate clubs when we were in high school, and we dreamed about being in the parliament of my country. He's the youngest member of parliament. Here you can see some pictures of us during the campaign. I actually ruled the campaign, and it was in San Miguelito. It's in my district also, so I knew it pretty well. I knew the streets, I knew the leaders, I knew the people. So women lead campaigns, politics campaigns, and I think we just do not have to stay in that line, so we have to get elected ourselves too. But that's our next step, and I believe he's going to support me for that. I'm running for to become a mayor in my district in 2024. So I just want to talk to you about a few bills that I've had the opportunity to present while working with him. And this is why I believe young women is needed in politics, because it's a different perspective. Men, all the laws that we have and all the regulations and all the public policies that we have has been created for and by men. And that has led 50% of the population, which are women in most of our countries in the whole world, with the 50% of the population, we have been discriminated and we have been forgotten because we haven't had the opportunity to represent our interests. So I have the opportunity to present this menstruation bill, which are the main goals are to give access to menstruation products to all girls and women in public schools, in public hospitals, in shelters, in jails, and also, which is a more harder goal to make, we're trying to eliminate taxes over menstruation products. And of course, this bill also includes things about educate people, kids, boys and girls about menstruation, and eliminate and get rid of these taboos that menstruation makes us lazy, and that menstruation is bad for us, and that we're emotional, and that we're hormonal, and that because of that we cannot rule the world and we cannot rule our countries. So we have to normalize menstruation. We have to make people and make kids and boys and girls realize that you have nothing to be ashamed of, that it's just a biological, regular thing that has to happen. And it's beautiful because from menstruation, actually, from our reproductive system, from our bellies, from our bodies, we create life. And I think we have to normalize this thing, and it will hopefully make us look a bit more normal, I think. And yes, that's we're debating this in the National Assembly right now. Hopefully it will become a law, but we're fighting for that, and we need the support of many feminist organizations and the civic society, because members of parliament, for example, one member of parliament whom is from my district too, he said well, if we're giving women free tampons and if we're giving women free pads and free menstrual cups, if I get sick, I wish that I have a free clinics to blow my nose. Putting in the same page menstruation and a sickness is not the same. We have this every month. It's going to happen.
Menstruation is not sickness.
Menstruation is not a sickness.
Something natural that comes to only a woman, because we are protected because we are creating life. That's what you said earlier, but oh my God, I can't believe.
Yeah. So pretty rough comment, and it's a fight, and I don't hope in Panama men to realize that this is normal, because they have grown believing that you need to shut up about this and you don't have to talk about this, and you have to hide the pad in here when you're going to the bathroom because no one can know that you're having your period. And it happened to me and to my girlfriends at school. It's do you have a tampon? Do you have a pet? And it's like we don't talk about it loudly. We don't talk about it with confidence. And I think we should feel confident about everything that happens in our bodies. And men should also believe that, because we are all part of society and we all have to understand that these things are normal. And I believe that making things like this really will change the reality of women and, of course, the reality of girls in school, because many girls in Panama, and this is actual like a study that has been made, many girls in Panama miss classes and stop attending to school by the time they start having their periods. So if we get to do this, we are making girls go into school. So that's very important, right? To make girls go back to school and forget that you cannot go because you do not count with the sources for paying to products like this. And most products like this cost money, you know, and they're not like cheap. And I don't know.
When it comes to the families, maybe there is only a father is working, and he maybe having like 4 daughters, and of course his wife is like, you are just working for these kind of products.
Exactly.
It's expensive.
It's very expensive. Actually, a menstrual cup, which is like the most environmental method, it's the most expensive one. In here in the United States, I've seen menstrual cups in like the supermarkets on CVS in $40, for example. That's insane. And they last 10 years. But yes, who can pay $40 right away to solve a thing that's going to last 5 days this month? It's a bit illogical, no? So people need to, the poverty, menstruation poverty exists, and we need to eliminate this barrier to make women more capable of doing things, more capable to participate in politics, to go to school, to go to college, to everything. Another bill that I have presented is a reform from a law that it's about the sterilization of people in Panama. And the law right now, for the men, the only requirement is to be 18 years old. But if you want to have an sterilization procedure, a surgical procedure in a public clinic or in a public hospital, if you're a woman, you need to be 23 years old, and you have to have 3 or more kids. Because of why? I don't know. There's no an study or a scientist reason of why they created this law. It's just because of the patriarchy. It's just because of the machismo. Because the man who built this law, who created this law, obviously didn't believe that we as women can decide when to have our family or when to have our kids. Or they couldn't even believe that we, when are 18, as our constitution says, we are adults and that we can make our decisions for ourselves. They believe that women needs to be more mature, and they believe that women needs to be moms to do a procedure like this. So this is obviously a discriminating law, and what we're trying to do is just to make these requirements equal. Men, you need to be 18 years old. Women, you only need to be 18 years old if you want to have this procedure. You know, what happens if I have 19 years old and I have already 2 kids? I cannot get the procedure.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. What happens if I had 22 years old and I have 1 kid and I don't want to have any more? I cannot do this procedure. I have to wait 1 more year, or I have to have another kid to be able to continue with my family planification as I want. So this actually is a more polemic and controversial law. Yeah. Some member of the parliament have said, a man obviously, he said but well, Juan Diego, because I do this in the name of Juan Diego. And I think that's good, because if I did it myself, maybe it won't be that accepted. But because he's white, he's blonde, he has green eyes, he's young, people actually love him. We were the most voted member of the parliament in the whole country. They see these proposals or bills more logically and more reasonable because he's a guy. And I think it's a good method to...
that kind of bills that actually be proposed by a man.
Yeah, I get I think it's contradicted. I think it's a contradiction, but I work there, and I'm really proud that he's putting the face and putting the body in the territory and defending these causes. And well, this member of parliament, he told that, but Juan Diego, what if I want to have a kid and my wife don't want to have a kid? Well, I believe that you don't have a kid then.
Yeah.
Because the one who's having the kid 9 months in their belly is not you, it's her. And, well, it's a pretty controversial debate because men do believe that they can have the right of ruling and controlling our bodies and our planification and the way we want to live. And we need to stop this kind of things from happening to make the way and the path for new women, for young women to believe they can. And in Panama, we have a high rate of young women having kids, which is a really bad problem in the country because that contributes to the poverty cycle, and we are not stopping that cycle until we let women make decisions for themselves. And from today till today, we cannot do that, but hopefully, if this bill becomes a law one day, maybe not this term, maybe the other one, maybe when feminist members of parliament get to the parliament, maybe it will. But, well, it's my effort, it's my work, and it's what I believe we can do, and I'm still fighting for that. Hopefully, we will have someday equal requirements for this operation, from this surgical sterilization and procedure, right? So, well, that's why I believe we need women in politics, because it's a different perspective. And we are representing this 50% of the population that has been forgotten, that has been discriminated. And in Panama, for example, women couldn't vote or couldn't be elected like 40 years ago. So it's new. It's new for women to have the opportunity to participate and to have a voice and to actually make a difference. So we're seeing changes pretty quick now, because young women are starting to, step up, and we're not afraid, and I'm not afraid. And I usually get this criticized comments about how I dressed, or how my hair looks, or how I have tattoos, or how I have piercings, or how I express myself because I'm like funny and I'm loud and I'm, and they see this as political incorrect behavior. But my passion, my emotion, the way I see the world, the way I feel the pain, because I feel pain and I feel anger, because we cannot go out one single day and not be safe. Every time we go out in Panama, there's some guy telling you things in the street. There's some guy ringing the pito of the car. What's the pito?
Sirens.
Mm-hmm. So making you feel uncomfortable, making you feel unsafe, and I fight for us to be in a safe environment, and I fight for us to have peace, because it's exhausting. It's exhausting having to be afraid every day of your life that something is gonna happen to you, that some guy is watching you, that you are being harassed, that you're being raped, that you're being abused. I think we need to put a stop in this. In Panama, the first felony that is like reclaimed for the women and the whole country, the most reclaimed, I don't know is that the right word, the first felony or crime that it's declared from in my whole country is domestic violence. So that's like a radiography of the situation of the families and of the women, especially in my country. We're suffering a lot, and I do think that whenever people get to tell us these things that they told narrating about how we belong to the kitchen and we belong to having kids, and our only job is to taking care of our families, that should make us stronger, and that should make us realize that we do have the right, and that we do have the intelligence, and that we do have the capability of changing things. And I do believe also that one of the biggest problems that women are facing, especially when we are trying to become politicians, is that we have this very big responsibility of taking care of kids, of taking care of our house, and it's like a third or a second work that we're doing, and we're not getting paid for that. So I do believe that men needs to involve a lot more in family decisions, in family participation, in the studies of the kids, in taking care of the grown-ups, of the elders, and in that way that they can help us to obviously reaching our goals or getting to put out there our work. So recently in Panama we had the electoral reforms, and we don't have this 50% of quota that maybe you have in your countries. I don't know.
40 in Bosnia.
40%?
In Bosnia, yeah.
And you in Mexico?
50%.
50%?
Only on a list.
On list.
Yeah.
It's good. On list, it's good.
We have 25.
25%? Well, we have 30% of Panama, but it's not like mandatory. So political parties never actually do it.
It's mandatory.
Yeah, it's mandatory over there.
In Mexico is mandatory.
In Panama, it's not.
In first on the list in Bosnia is a male, the second must be female, and in the
Yeah,
first
yeah, we have
five,
that.
there will be minimum 2 women.
But
minimum.
the issue is
But-
always about the those women who are there. They are belong to the parties, so they don't believe in women's rights, and so they are not representing women.
Yeah.
They are there because there is a quota. They have to be there.
Yeah.
But that's also happening in Mexico because there are not enough women that have the background or
yeah.
skills because they haven't had the opportunity to develop them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we don't have that in Panama. We don't have quotas, and we were asking for them and proposing them in this electoral reforms, because we have reforms every 4 years, of course, and after every election we have reforms, and we were fighting for the 50%, and we didn't make it. And in the strikes, we went to strikes. I actually go to rallies and I go to protests, and I actually have been in jail for like a night for protesting. Yes, and I work in government. I'm opposition, but I work in government, and it's a bit controversial and contradictory to be there, but we're doing things right, I think, and we are fighting for these things, and it's not happening. So I get frustrated because I'm doing the work, I'm fighting so hard in the work, but it's not enough. So I do believe in putting the body in the streets and putting the body in the territory and showing to the bad politicians that we are here and that we don't want what you are voting for. And women organized very, very, very well. The feminist movement in Panama is amazing, it's beautiful, it's strong, it's aggressive, and it's starting to get bigger and bigger. And we held our signs saying things like no woman, no democracy, and representation matters, and fight today for a better tomorrow. So we were trying to do that, and that's a fight. Also, that's a fight that we have. I do believe that the only opportunity or the only method, the best method to actually formalizing women in politics and in participation is establishing quotas. That's what science has told us. That's what numbers has told us. It's not going to happen naturally. It's not going to happen because we vote for women. No, we need to tell women you can do it. We have to encourage women. You can do it. We have to support women. Go and do it. Go and do it. And we need to.
What are their jobs to do in the parliament, in the elections, but not just in the parliament, but also to know how to be very useful in their communities.
Yes.
By their voters, and also to convince them that you can be a mother and a sister and everything at house at the same time as a member of the parliament, as activist, as everything. It's just about finding a ways to manage all the things.
Yes, as men has done it the whole life.
Yeah.
They're fathers, they're husbands, and they're brothers,
And also,
and they work. They're politicians.
very
They're
good in
lawyers.
kitchen. Some of them are very good in
Yeah.
kitchen.
Some of them are
so
very good in kitchen. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, like a male nanny also.
Yeah. So as a society and as public policy makers, we do have to make these things happen. We do have to tell men, also, you can not. You don't have to be this male figure, and you don't have to provide all the things that your house need, and you don't have to be like with a rock heart, you can have emotions. You can cry. You can be sentimental. You can cook. You can brush your kid's hair. You can, play with your daughter. You can do all of them. So feminism is not only to help women get empowered and getting stronger. It's also helps men to realize that they have also been suffering way too much from the system, from the patriarch.
Irma, I don't know if you know the background of Mexico and women, especially of the increase in violence in recent years, and how women decided to make March 8th, that I know that is the International Women's Day.
8 a.m.
Yes, 8 a.m. No, but I don't know if you know that in Mexico they decided that 8 a.m. will be a day without women. So it's like
they stop.
They stop.
Really?
They do not work. They do not answer texts. They do not answer phones. It's like they die. That's the idea. So it's pretty cool because women, they
showing
how important.
Could be imagined and possible without women.
Yes, exactly.
Wow, great, amazing idea.
Yes.
And they started in 2020, and they had been replicated. Just 2 years, but they made a massive. Protest in Mexico because in fact they are killing women in Mexico
A lot. Mexico is one of the more violent countries for women.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I will go and read about it. And
It
can
is.
also duplicated in our countries. Yeah.
And it's like, imagine if your mom died, or imagine if your sister died.
Yeah.
This is happening to women in Mexico.
Who's taking care of the kids? Who's cooking?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they weren't allowed to take care of the kids, to take them to school, to go to work, to answer a phone call, nothing. And it was, in fact, if you fire a woman because she didn't present to work, that it was
day.
against the law if you did that. So it's
amazing.
baby steps.
And I think in Mexico we have so much to learn from the feminist movement. They are aggressive. When these days come, they have to put barriers in the Congress and barriers in the local governments because they go and they break and burn everything because they are really, really tired. And I do understand that, they have a lot of anger. They have suffered so much. I don't consider myself a radical, but obviously I get to talk to them, and I do understand. It's like the black movement in here in the United States. We need as much as we need Martin Luther King, we needed Malcolm X. So I think both parts of fighting in laws and in government, as in the streets, and with more aggressive movements.
So thank you very much for the great presentation. You are one of the ladies that give energy to all of us, especially in the beginning.
The network.
That was great. And also thanks for Nahari, that she also participated and that she shared what she had been through in Bangladesh. So I have two questions. One for Nahrin. Nahrin, what is your plan to support other women and girls in your community to become like you, or to use you as a sample, or what is the steps you are taking care of that in order to support other women and girls in your community? Not all the women and girls have that opportunity, and they need leaders like you. You got that chance to be in this position. So what's your plan on that? And Emma, I'm curious to know two things about your community. One is the early marriage, or child marriage. You have that in your community?
No, it's not allowed.
Okay, and second point regarding domestic violence. There is any law against anti-domestic, and if yes, why women are not reporting, or why not trying to change their situation to fight for better life?
Okay, Naren, you wanna go first?
You need to unmute yourself.
You are muted.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
If I could understand, the question is how I can accommodate the girls or women to be like me or to come into politics. Is it so?
Yeah, exactly.